we were talking about the Portland Trailblazers, the results of our poll question. The poll question where new owner, superstar player, new coach, or new front office, which is the most important to turn the franchise around? Oh, by the way, Adley Rutschman. Is that a walk-off? It was a walk-off.
He's good at those.
Adley Rutschman walk-off home run. 3-2. Orioles beat the Blue Jays.
Slam-a-lam-a-ding-dong.
He's got to hit that the homer hose now.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. But we had a text because new owner, it really knocked it out of the park here. This text says, I think some of it is the Blazers don't have an owner. They're owned by a trust. Jodie is in charge of the trust. She hasn't bought any NBA team. She's a temp. Fans are tired of a temp owner. Now, there is the...
I want to stop you right there.
Go ahead.
What are they tired of?
Just the uncertainty. Because
what uncertainty is there?
This uncertainty that in Paul Allen's will, the sale of the Seahawks and the Portland Trailblazers is part of his will.
Sure.
They must be sold. And I think that, at first it was 5 years. That would be this year since Paul Allen died. That was the first report. And we still don't know, right? Because Jodie came out, well, I guess the Family Trust came out with the statement that said this could take 10 to 15 years to untangle all of the assets in the will and then put the team up for sale, right? So with it, now we're sitting there and we're looking at, all right, so now between 5 and 10 years from now, we could be looking at a situation where the team is sold, and it will eventually be sold, because unless Jodie buys it back for market value, the team will be sold. And so that's where I think the temporary owner is coming from.
What does that matter?
Well, that the team will be sold. It will be forced to be sold.
Okay.
And so hold on. What they want is just get it out of the way now and get the person in charge who can oversee and will be in charge of the organization post this rebuild. I think that is where some fans come from.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's a figurehead because they're not doing anything right now that isn't going to be done by new ownership.
Well, but exactly. And
that's my point.
Hold on. I think that's where this conversation, and we talk about, how intimate your knowledge is of the Portland Trailblazers because you cover them literally every single day, right? Like literally every single day.
Yes.
So you see what a lot of the fans don't see. And I think over the last couple of days, we've talked a lot about, look, the Blazers started the Rip City remix, and that was a losing venture for them. They did not make money this year. They dumped a lot of money into that. They've dumped a lot of money into the practice facility and the facilities of the Portland Trailblazers, which when Paul Allen built that facility, it was state-of-the-art.
Yes, but it's been a little while since then.
It had fallen behind what other organizations had. So they've updated it since he has died. They've updated a lot. Like whether it was, I think the weight room was right around the time he was sick when they redid the weight room.
I want to say like 2016.
And then the theater, the theater room that they attached to it.
I think that was the next
then
season.
it was their training room and training facilities with the whirlpools and all that stuff. And then the kitchen is the latest one, right?
They got that, and then the upstairs annex.
They have pumped a lot of money into the facilities. They are pumping more money into Moda Center as a whole for improvements on that. Now, all of Moda Center will be something that they do make money off of, right?
Yes.
And that makes sense. But I think the perception is that Jodie Allen doesn't care. The Vulcans who are running the team, they don't care. And they're not putting money into the franchise. And that is incorrect, right? Because where their payroll was smack dab right in the middle, right? This past year of the NBA.
I want to say they finished 10th.
Okay. Was
in 2022 they were 8th.
So they were not a bottom of the barrel, they want to say
cut
everything off.
No, they were like $400,000 away from the tax.
That is what a lot of ownership groups do that are in a rebuild, but you can benefit off of spending money on your roster when you're not
contracts to
winning.
trade, yes.
So you have contracts to trade. That's right. So that's an element of this where you can say that she doesn't care, she's not investing in the team and all that. They have the 10th highest payroll in the NBA, knowing that they're going to be losing basketball games because it benefits the team in the long run. That is one thing that I think an absent owner or somebody who only cares about making money off of the team, they just would cut to the bottom and they'd be in like 25th through 30th in payroll, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, those are things where you can counter the Jodie Allen doesn't care, but what you can't counter is eventually this team will be for sale, and I think that's where a lot of fans are frustrated with the organization.
There's this whole thing about Phil Knight. Phil Knight isn't fixing anything. I don't care how much money he has. Number one, it doesn't matter. He's not luring. He's not luring free agents to Portland. The allure of Nike and being close to Nike might work in college football. It does not work in the NBA. They do not care. I'm telling you flat out. 25-year-old black millionaires do not want to live in Portland. Phil Knight is not changing that. There's no NIL deal. There's no shield deal that's changing that. And on top of that, Phil's going to die in 5 years, and we're back in this loop again.
But I understand that. I understand that. But that Phil Knight is the one person who has been front and center on buying the organization and wanting to do it. And I think that his partner, who's a minority owner of the Dodgers too, who's got deep pockets, cares about sports, all that stuff. I think that may be it right there. Fans want a owner who cares about the team and cares about sports.
Sure.
Because when you have that, you know that whatever the owner does, and look, Paul Allen made a ton of mistakes. Hassan Jin, anybody, right? Like, he made a ton of mistakes as the owner of this team. But you know what? You could never say about him is that you could never say he doesn't care. Because we all knew that Paul Allen cared deeply about the organization. I think that is where fans are coming from. I still think that a superstar player is numero uno to changing the fortunes of your franchise.
This text,
it is number one.
Here's two texts right here that illustrate. I'm going to be blunt. You don't know what you're talking about. Phil Knight would have gone all in and cared a damn. It has nothing to do with free agents. What have they not gone all in on? No. I'm gonna set this absolutely straight. Yeah. There's nothing Phil Knight could, would, should, can do to make free agents come to Portland, to force trades to happen. There is not an owner on this planet that changes that.
Danny Kennison is back. You did a really good job for about a half hour.
Look, I know that you're just not you. The collective you are stuck on this idea that Jodie is this boogeyman that you want to blame because heaven forbid the city that you live in isn't attractive to free agents and it's all somebody's fault.
Well, it's never has been a free agent destination.
And on top of this, there's another one. Marang seems to think all owners are equal and don't matter. Look at Phoenix. You're making my point for me. But they had a crappy owner in Robert Sarver and they made the NBA Finals. That's right. Then they switched and they went all in, quote unquote, by giving up every asset they had from an NBA Finals team not named Devin Booker, and now they're screwed for almost a decade.
Yeah. But it's again, I think where that text started was it's the illusion of caring, right? It's the illusion of caring that Phil Knight, we know he cares about the city, he cares about the state, he cares about sports. And I think the fact that when Jodie took over, it was she doesn't really care about sports. She doesn't know much about sports. She was handed 2 professional sports franchises. I think that has framed so much of the perception of ownership in Portland right now. And I understand where you're coming from because you are right in that they are spending a lot of money. That is not the issue.
What is the thing that tangibly?
Yeah.
What is the thing that ownership is not doing?
Yeah. Well, drafting a superstar.
And then when it gets to that, because I've seen that come up in the text.
Yeah.
Well, they need to change the front office because they need to get a superstar. What move in the last 5 years has been available to be made where they could get a superstar?
I think I think that this fan base and those people that really are upset about it. If the Blazers draft a guard, which if Topic is there at 7, that'll drive them batty even more.
No, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But this is what I was saying yesterday. It is a zero-sum game right now. Once you go the tanking path, you are in it until you get the star because there's no way out of it. You have ripped the mediocrity Band-Aid off. You have allowed yourself to fall below that line. And in order to get out of there, you need the stars. To get the stars, you got to be in the lotto. It's just that simple. The math does not go any other way. You can point to Giannis or Jokic or whatever exception to the rule you want to find. But if you're building on exceptions, you are going to fail miserably.
All right. You did really well for a half hour. They're not... not just, yelling at us.
Look, it's just look. I get people are frustrated. I get it's not fun to tank. It's not.
It's not.
And this is what we said going into this season so many times. Is it's going to be a long process. It's going to suck. It's going to be miserable. It's not a fun thing to do. But you're not looking to blame things right now. You're not looking to make star trades right now. You're not looking to, quote unquote, improve the roster. If you want to say the organization's lying to you, find me the organization in sports that has told you they're going to suck going into the year, even if everyone and their mother knew they were going to. That's on you. That's on you if you're believing that.
Okay.
It's that simple.
I think you need to smile. And coming up next, I'm going to make you smile. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.